Good evening, everybody. Good evening. The games are coming thick and fast. Welcome back to another match preview show, and it is Liverpool against West Ham. After the joys of beating Manchester City, the Reds are back in action against the Hammers. And to join me, I have two fabulous guests. From Garage Football, we have Mr. Bill West. Thank you very much for coming on the channel. How are you, mate?
Yeah, fine. Thanks, mate. Thanks for having us on.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. And I think this is his first time. Spider, how are you, mate?
How's it going, Doug? Thanks for having me on, man. You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm doing well. I'm not too bad. I've been a bit bunged up this week, but I feel I'm getting much better. Anyway,
kids.
Yeah, I'm not at that stage yet, but I know how you feel. But let's just kick things off with Bill, West Ham. How do you sum up your season so far?
Yeah, mixed. Obviously, a bit like you guys, a bit of a slow start of the season, but the month of October has been fantastic for us. And in terms of, our league form, when you see sides with that play in Europe, it's often seen that Europe's a distraction in terms of the league form. But for us, it's been the complete opposite. We've done really well in the Conference League, qualifying, but also in the group stage with 4 wins out of 4. We're through to the knockout round. Should finish top. We've needed 1 point from 2 games, and that's really helped on league form, I've got to say. I say we've had a big window in terms of amount of players that have come in and left as well, like all freebies or retirement in not Mark Noble's case. But I think the players, most of the newbies, have settled in really well. Particularly Gianluca Scamacca, I'm sure we'll talk about. And with this month we've got a few wins, and we're starting to get back to the sort of level where we finished, 6th and 7th in successful seasons.
Yeah, 100%. And just obviously on your Conference League form, I was like 4 wins from 4, which is very, very good. Because you are up against like teams. I think it was at Silkeborg. What used to be was it Steaua Bucharest, and then Anderlecht. I mean, there are 3 difficult sides. To get 4 wins from 4 is very, very impressive. How far do you think you guys could go in the Europa Conference League?
Well, I mean, I think judging by the squad we've got, and obviously our exploits in the Europa League last season, where we got to the semi-finals, and if Aaron Cresswell doesn't get sent off, I think we beat Eintracht Frankfurt in the semis. So, so I think a bit obviously depends on the draw. Obviously, at the moment, some of the groups are absolutely ridiculous in the Conference League in terms of like quality. Probably our group's probably the best in terms of quality, and even so, we've still won 4 from 4. So, but no matter what competition you go to, even Carabao Cup, the further you go in that, it's the better teams are in it, aren't they? So, depends who we get obviously in the draw. But I think obviously with the teams and the caliber of sides we beat in the Conference League. In the Europa League last season, Sevilla, kings of the Europa League, and Lyon and running Eintracht Frankfurt so close to we won the competition. I don't see why we can't go all the way and win it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you've got a really, really good opportunity. Spard, have you managed to see much of West Ham this season?
Just little bits and pieces, to be honest with you. I was too worried about us, to be honest with you. normally every season for the we've been spoiled for the last few seasons with how good Liverpool have been, and we're starting to get that form back again. But what it also allowed me to do is because I didn't have so much worry about Liverpool, and I loved watching all the stats, and we knew how Jurgen played every week. It allowed me to really delve into other teams a bit more than what I used to, and I think that's where I became more associated with other teams, really. But I haven't seen much of West Ham this season, to be honest with you, just on because outside doing the podcast and stuff, I'm gigging on the weekends, so sometimes I miss a game or something if I'm heading towards a gig. So, but outside that, no. But David Moyes has done a fantastic job there. I have to give plaudits to Mark Noble, absolute legend that retired for you guys last season. He's on par with Steven Gerrard for us, at that kind of level in history for you guys. I haven't seen much of Scamacca, but I'm hoping that, I thought he was the type of player that would kind of drive on, for West Ham, from his previous spells in the league. But I'm trying to figure out if West Ham have lost some of their identity from last season. It's they haven't got going. We're probably in a very similar situation. I think there's a bit of a transition going there to try and counter teams and stuff. But you're going to have to fill me in that well, Bill, to be honest with you, So that's kind of I'm going to be learning from you tonight, really, because I can't see what's gone wrong there, because David Moyes he's done a fantastic job so far,
Yeah, it's just it is a wee bit of a slow start, but obviously I think there is a lot of things to that. But to be fair, you did have Manchester City to begin with. I think that was a very difficult game. But yeah, 12th place. Are you disappointed with this sort of start to the season, or do you think it's quite a position that you think you would probably be at this stage?
There was always going to be a transition, lads, in terms of obviously the turnover of players, and obviously Mark Noble retiring is a huge hole. Not necessarily playing wise. Last couple of seasons, Kamal come off the bench, but just obviously his presence around the training ground, just in the dressing room. Obviously, he's back now, or he will be back in January as a sort of sporting director, which is a great move by the club. But I think that's been plus injuries have played a part as well, with our big money signing centre back Aguerd. Got injured against Rangers. He's not played this season. We've had big injuries at the back. I mean, we'll touch on it, but against Southampton on Sunday, we played three at the back, two of them being fullbacks, Ben Johnson and Aaron Cresswell. And Kerr's played as a fullback last few games. He played as a centre-back. He played well. But so injuries haven't helped us. But I mean, as I say, the new signings, David Moyes hasn't put them all in at the same time. He's fed drips and drabs, but they've started to hit form now. So, and hence why we've had a good October.
Yeah, 100%. You have had a very, very good October. Hello, guys in the chat. I will come to you now. Sorry, you're obviously missing out to the chat, but we will say hello to a few of you, because there is a lot of you in here. Good evening, Liz. Hope you're good. Hello to Cedric. Hello to John Conway. Hello to Glasgow Red Chats as well. It will come up eventually. There we go. Sebastian's in as well. What's he said? Scamacca is going to be a huge problem for the defence, because that guy is a really good talent, and West Ham has never lost when Scamacca starred. Well, there you go, Sebastian. That is a stat and a half. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Scamacca, because big money signing from who was it? Was it Sassuolo? I can't actually remember, but Scamacca, Sassuolo, he has impressed me. He has very, very much impressed me. A lot of people have said on Twitter that he is sort of the Italian Ibrahimovic, which I can kind of see, because obviously of his height as well. But what have you made of him so far in a West Ham shirt?
Fantastic, mate. I think he's perfect for this Premier League. He's physical. He's quick enough. I wouldn't say he's lightning quick, but he's quick enough. Got that little bit of agility. I'll tell you what, lads, his passing range for a striker is phenomenal. The amount of times he'll just chest the ball or receive it on the half turn and whip it out wide to sort of Soufal or Cresswell, whoever's running down the other side. And his finishing as well. Couple of really good finishes. I mean, his lob against Fulham the other week was exceptional. And the thing is, it's weird to say as a striker, he takes a lot of shots, but nowadays a lot of strikers will try and feed it to their partner or maybe put a cross in, but he always goes for goal, and he always, in this sort of, Jermaine Defoe-esque, he always gets it on target or very close. Very rarely takes a wild shot and it goes 20 rows back. He's always very precise with his shots. So I think he's settled in fantastically, and the frightening thing is he's only going to get better.
Oh, definitely. Has it been difficult to sort of get him in? Because obviously you've got Mikel Antonio, who does like to just sort of drift out wide. Have you managed to get them both in the team together, or does one have to start or one have to be on the bench?
I think this is part of David Moyes' sort of vision, where I think there will become a time where he will play both of them, but for now I think at the start of the season it's more Scamacca's playing, he's leading the line in the Conference League games, and Mikel Antonio's going to play the Premier League games, but the last few games in the Prem, Scamacca has started. I think Antonio's got the flu, or did have the flu the other week, so that laid an opportunity for Scamacca to play from the start, and he's linked up brilliantly with Paqueta, another big summer signing from Lyon in the summer. He's still starting to settle in. He hasn't got a goal yet, but some of his passing is starting to get up the speed, and he's getting used to his teammates. But more importantly, his teammates getting used to him. Like, he's technical wise, vision wise, he's light years ahead of some of our players, and they need to catch up with him. So that's started to happen. It's been really, really good to see the likes of Scamacca, Paqueta and Declan Rice, the little triangles they're playing, it's been really good to watch. So, and that's, as I say, it's only going to get better, really.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Spider, every time we seem to play West Ham, there are very, very close games, and especially the ones at Anfield. And I probably expect a little bit of a closer game tomorrow as well.
Yeah, I gave a different stat. I thought, I know they've been on, like West Ham have had a good October, but I still think that, you know, with us at home, I was thinking in the form that we're in, I was hoping for a bit more out of us, but we can't. Right, West Ham have always been some sort of a weird team with us. There's always been like 3-2s, or or a 2-1 here or there. It's very rarely you see a 3-1 or a 3-0 or something like that. Like, yeah, like as you were alluding to there, Bill. I mean, Rice and Scamacca have been something else for you guys this season, and I'm just saying, like, what if West Ham started the form and what they did at the start of the season, how good would Scamacca have been? So even more so. But like, it's good to have teams in when they're starting poor form, but players individually in good form, because they tend to lift the team around them eventually, so which is a good thing. But I think it'll be a tight affair tomorrow. In saying that, I was very boisterous when I was on the chat last night, and I was just kind of saying, no, I think we can do it by a couple of goals, just because, I don't know if Antonio's back. Antonio, I'll be honest with you, he puts the shits in me when he plays against us. He always
He always scores against Liverpool every single season.
Against us, man. Yeah, so you have to keep going. He tends to nick one in there, And the thing is, we have to score early. If we score early, I think we're good. If West Ham score, then the game becomes closer, it becomes edgy, and it becomes one of those games. But going by Liverpool's poor goal loss ratio at the start of a game in the last 15 games, it's likely that could happen. But it happened against Rangers, but we dominated 7-1. We learned a lesson from that. We put out a defensive team against City in a way that we can counter-attack, rather than we gave up possession play against them, because we knew that that's what their strengths were at, and we let them play into our hands with the counter-attack, which opened them up, I think, at numerous occasions. So for me, I think that we'll be more on the front foot tomorrow against West Ham, and missing Jota is a bit of a blow, all right. But look, we bought Nunez for a reason. He should be going in there as well as Salah. But are you going to play 4-4-2, go through the middle? But we'll talk about that in a while, I suppose. But if we score first, I think we'll do them by a couple of goals. If they score first, it'll be one of these tight affairs back and forth. I think, edgy, wild games. Newcastle, West Ham of old games, So hopefully.
Yeah, it is going to be a very, very intriguing game. But we will obviously speak about the last sort of game the West Ham played. Now, it was a 1-1 draw with Southampton, but Southampton's goal, Bill, how on earth is that allowed to stand? The referee is in Bowen's. He's basically blocked off Bowen from actually getting the ball. So how is that goal allowed to stand? Honestly, I saw that on like the Premier League like website, the Premier League like YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I was just dumbfounded.
Yeah, no, I just couldn't believe it. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the chat was about the throw-in, which was ridiculous, because it might not look like it's a legit throw-in, but it was according to the rules. And obviously VAR can't rule out throw-ins because it's not in the rules. And yeah, I think that decision for the goal to stand, I'd be frustrated if I was a neutral watching that, because that just sums up one of the many examples of the shocking standard refereeing these days. So but to be fair, I mean, I was recording a preview before we come on here, and I think Southampton at the start of the game deserved it. I think because I mentioned earlier with Johnson and Cresswell on the back three, and they just took advantage of it, and they deserved to take the lead, albeit in fortuitous circumstances. Yeah,
definitely. But I suppose we can only sort of speak about Liverpool, Spider. The 1-0 win over Manchester City. Have you came down from Cloud9 yet?
I guess not, because I'm wearing my Liverpool 5 Manchester United 0 t-shirt, even though that wasn't the last result. So I'm back on my high horse again, if or dare to say it. Look, fantastic result, and it's not to the fact that City played bad. I just think we outplayed them in a way. I think we tactically outplayed them anyway. At least we kept De Bruyne very, very quiet. I think Bobby Firmino was immense dropping back and protecting the balls from getting to De Bruyne.
Yeah, you guys played well. I was impressed.
Yeah,
particularly with Gomez.
Yeah,
and Milner playing as a right back.
Yeah, fantastic. Everybody was shocked by how good Milner played, to the point that I'd nearly pick him again for Wednesday, because in saying that, like, Trent came on at the end of the game. Well, how many minutes were left in the game, and the first thing that he did was go up and do what he normally does, plays well up in the middle of the park, up forward, and then completely went to sleep as Foden ran up and got a brilliant ball into the box in the last minute, which I nearly cried myself. I standing on the spot, going, oh my god, so I was going, no, all that hard work undone, So that's what I was kind of worried about. With Trent, look, Millie was in there. He didn't seem to need as much help in that right back position. Only from his right centre back rather than from the midfield, which it allowed Fabinho and the likes of more freedom, to be honest with you, to get on the counter and to step into Haaland a bit more and protect Van Dijk and Gomez a lot more, which is what I want to see from a CDM. We're having to come out and protect our right back, because they should be able to do their own game. Right back and left backs are technically supposed to be the easiest part of a game. You just you sit in there, you protect at the edges, and you barrel forward and crossing the ball. But it's just look. And I'm not a Trent basher at all. I love Trent. I think he's one of the best in the world at what he does for a right wing back. I just think he's just in a bit of a concentration blank at the moment, and hopefully after this recent injury he can step up a bit and show us all why he is classed as the best in the world. Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, we'll obviously need to wait and see what happens. But I'm one of these people that I don't really want to rush back. Because we've seen in the past that, like, I'll give a good example, like Manchester United under Ollie, like when Rashford was injured, he came back straight away and then aggravated an injury. I don't want Trent to do the same. And then obviously it's the same with when Kanate comes back, when Ox potentially comes back, when Naby comes back. I don't want anyone sort of coming back into their, like, straight away just to sort of ease them back in. So I think that is a very, very good thing that Trent, I think, as well, maybe giving him a bench slot tomorrow would be very, very good.
I think so.
But sorry.
No, sorry, but you nailed it on the head there, to be honest with you, Doug, because if you just look at what happened to Jota and what's after happening to Kanate after coming back from 2 injuries, they've only come back for like 2-3 games max, and they're gone again because they've been inserted into the team just quickly. And I know Klopp, he is a very patient manager. We're bringing players into the squad when they're new. But when they're established and they're in there for a while, he can tend to bring him in a bit faster than what you would expect. And look, he just has to rest. We have enough good guys in there. Carvalho needs game time to cover for Jota. He needs more minutes on the pitch. Elliott's been fantastic for the last few weeks. He's been one of our best players. When Thiago wasn't on the pitch, he was playing the Thiago role the other day against Rangers. He was fantastic doing it. So look, it's just a learn the lesson curve, man. You hit it right in the head,
Yeah, absolutely. As sort of far as things are West Ham concerned, what's the sort of the injury news ahead of tomorrow?
Well, our backline has been decimated, so I don't think Zuma or Craig Dawson will be back in the squad. Angelo Bonner went off against Anderlecht last week, and he was on the bench against Southampton. So it went. Yeah. So Aguero obviously I think he's going to be back training fairly soon, but he's nowhere near playing. Playing any games or whatever. He'd probably have to play some youth games or even like the last couple of Conference League matches before he's ready for the Premier League. So it'd probably be a patched up defence, and I think that obviously plays into Liverpool's hands. It might be. I say we played the back three of Johnson, Kerr, and Cresswell against Southampton. Unfortunately, that might have to be the same for the Liverpool match.
Yeah, it's not. Injuries are a part and parcel of football, unfortunately, and You know, I go back to that 2021 season where, Spider, I have to mention this, that we had 22 centre-back partnerships, different centre-back partnerships. So I obviously hope for West Ham's sake that you do get players back, because I think playing players out of position is not the best. As well, but I do like Aguerd. We haven't really seen him, have we? I think was he one of the ones that got injured in like his very first game or something?
Yeah, well, I mean, he hasn't played this season. He got injured in pre-season against the Rangers.
That's right. So, that's right.
But I was there for the Reading pre-season. He looked really impressive. I know it's only Reading, but I mean, still, he looked pretty. Club was close to the match. Good communication, good left foot, reads the game really well. So he obviously. He's a big miss already. Hasn't played at all. But obviously, Kurt Zouma, has been really good for us since he joined. But he's had his injury problems. So it's just that we haven't had a fully fit sort of back line very much this season. I think that played a part in our slow start of the season. Ben Johnson is obviously a really good prospect, and I think he should be our future. Probably should be our starting right back with Southampton's poor form, but he's having to play as a makeshift right centre back, or as a centre back alongside Zoom at the start of the season because of our injuries.
100%. I will get to the chat very, very soon, guys, because there is a lot to talk about. Delboy's in. Good evening, Delboy. What's the crack? What is the bleeding story, as you'd like to say? Hope you are well. Sorry, I cannot for the life of me do impressions, so I do apologize as well. Liz has put Bill's channel in the chat, so please go over and check Garrett's football out, and she's also put out Spider's channel as well. Oh, actually she's now saying it's pronounced James freaking Milner. We know Liz loves James freaking Milner. There you go, Liz. There you go, James freaking Milner. But it's going to be a very, very intriguing game. Anyway, Bill, what have you made of Liverpool this season so far?
Yeah, well, similar to us, a bit of a transitional sort of in terms of the signings and outgoings. Really, obviously, Núñez is a completely different player to any of your front three over the past 5 seasons. Any time since Jurgen Klopp has been at the club, and obviously Sadio Mane leaving has been a big blow. But also, I just think, like with a lot of our players at the start of the season, slow out the blocks in terms of finding your best form. Virgil van Dijk, obviously Alexander-Arnold we mentioned. Fabinho's been in and out of the squad as well. Mo Salah hasn't. I mean, he's scored against Man City and he's got that brilliant hat trick in quick time against Rangers, but not been getting the goals that he usually gets. But he's been amazing for the past 4 or 5 seasons, so he's going to bound to have some sort of drop off. So naturally, when you have quite a lot of players not in your best form, you're not going to win a lot of football matches. So I think it's hard to. I wouldn't rule Liverpool out in terms of getting Champions League or even maybe getting the title race. It's still a long way to go. But I think it's just there's just Klopp's just got to try and find the right combination in terms of obviously defending, but in terms of how they attack this like heavy metal front foot football that I think he wants to play. You can't really do that with Núñez. So it's just about finding that right. And the midfield's a bit weak for Liverpool, I've got to say. They're probably waiting for, you guys probably know better, but I'm sure they're waiting for Jude Bellingham, someone like that next season, next summer, which would make a huge difference to your side.
That is definitely the one that has been on our lips for a while. Probably the one thing to talk about is probably Jude, because it's the only thing that seems to be going through our midfield. But obviously, there are other options. Obviously, because like Sado at Brighton has been mentioned. I think Barella at Milan has been mentioned as well. But Spider, Mohamed Salah. He is back in very good form. 4 goals in his last 2 games.
Yeah, how sharp has he looked when he comes out from the centre? He's been
much.
Really, completely different player. No, the Mohamed Salah of old, you'd always see him picking it up on the wing or whatever like that. But if like within 8 seconds of picking it up on the wing, he's already in the box receiving it from somebody else. But that didn't kind of happen to him at the start of the season. But I think it's just because of this. It's to do with the injuries, yeah, midfield. But I also think it's to do with just transition for us. That Klopp has in his mindset of going to 4-2-3-1 with an alternate 4-4-2. And I think his go-to formation for the big games tends to be a 4-3-3. Just to kind of, he knows how to handle big teams with that formation. But with every, he noticed that the problem with most, let's say, mid-table teams downwards or anytime we've had hassle with that has been the fact that they've defended 6-7 men against, in the back line against a 4-3-3. But the best thing about the 4-3-3, because of the way we set it up, is it creates triangles without having to press. And it's fantastic in that way. So it just it takes the pressure off Fabinho, it takes the pressure off Thiago in there, allows him to free up. But look, at the end of the day, Salah's been fantastic in this formation when he's been played through the centre.
He has.
But the problem is now you have Darwin Núñez. So you want to play him through the centre now as Núñez become Salah's competition because of this formation. We don't know, but look, he's capable of playing on the left. The good thing about Jurgen Klopp and the players that he's bought is that they're capable of playing on any side. Maybe not Salah on the left hand side, but they're capable of playing the false 9 role, the 10 role, the front man role.
There's been times, Spider, as well when Núñez he's drifted out wide as well, and he's actually quicker than I thought he was. I don't know about you guys, but he's got that little, it's not lightning quick, but he's got that little
stride.
The little bit of agility, which you obviously need at the top level. So he's got something about him.
Yeah. I think they call it in this season's FIFA lengthy. He's got that kind of that's what they call it, So he's got that about him, man. He did very well against City the other day when he came on, except for the cough. Not head up. I've been doing that the whole time. I have to cough before that, Les, because it's just it's one of the worst non-passes I've ever seen in my life. He should have played him in. But look, he's desperate for goals. That's the main thing. And I don't think Salah took it to heart too much. There was a bit of a dance out of him, but that's about it. Because Salah's been trying to feed him for the last few weeks since he's been coming on. But Salah in that main role as a front man, there was nobody better in world football inside in the box than him to be able to create space for himself and get a goal. Just look at the goals against Rangers the other night. Just look how he was an absolute nightmare for João Cancelo the other day. He spun him twice. I think he did him twice in that game, and he couldn't get a foot in. And this is supposed to be one of the best, wing backs in the world either side. So he made an absolute show out of him, and he's back to his best form. I want to see him just continue it game after game after game. Because once you get a run of games of Salah scoring goals, it becomes a surprise again that he hasn't scored for a game. And that's the Salah you want back.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that he's got the hat-trick midweek. I'm happy that he's scored the winner against Man City. I want to see him scoring against West Ham now. I want to see him getting a couple against Nottingham Forest. And no pressure, Salah. We love you, but I want to see it because I want him to know that missing is just a rarity. Again, because for a while scoring has been a rarity since the start of the season, and I want him to get back to the point where missing is a rarity, and that's the most Salah then you have back full time. So, but he looks like he's back anyway.
I mean, obviously, as people have seen on the thumbnail, obviously Salah has started the season a little bit slow, but actually Jared Bowen, Bill, he's actually had a bit of a wee slow start to the season. But funny thing is, and I was looking at this. This is apparently the last game, I think, until the provisional England World Cup squad, I think, is announced. So, what better place to impress potentially Gareth Southgate is at Anfield, because he usually has a good game against Liverpool, does Jared Bowen.
Yeah, no, you bang on. I think, Jared was unfortunately one of those players where one of many players we had where he had a slow start of the season. I think there were times where he was trying too hard to beat a man, and usually his touch is on point, and it wasn't quite. He always tries hard, Jared, and that's why he always gets a lot of love from himself and other West Ham fans. But just weren't clicking. His partnership which has been so good with Southampton, hasn't been the same this season. But he started to get on the score sheet. He's starting to play a lot better now. I thought he was quite lucky to be in the last England squad, I've got to say. But on current form, the way he's played the last few weeks, I think he should be in the squad. I think he should be in the starting lineup. I think he should be Foden or Saka on the right-hand side. But is he of the best 26 players in England? I would argue yes, he is. So and I totally agree. And what better way to sign off like your season sort of before the World Cup with a good performance against Liverpool, and him against Robertson has been a really good battle the last couple of seasons. So I expect more of the same tomorrow night.
Yeah, it should be a very, very interesting battle. Spider, is there any West Ham players that you fear tomorrow? Obviously, we have said Antonio, but is there anyone else?
No, Antonio just scares me.
I've got to say, he has actually got a good scoring record against us. Pablo Fornals.
Oh, Fornals, yeah. He just pops out of nowhere. That's the last 10 games with this guy. It's 8 games, I think, in the league. Yeah, he's been a nightmare.
I think from memory, I think he's scored in the last 4 in a row against Liverpool.
Yeah, he has. And I think 3 of the 4 of them were first goals.
Yep.
Yeah. So if I'm right, that's Fornals is a bit of a whoopee cushion for us, to be honest with you. So yeah, we just have to keep him quiet. Look, if Verge and Gomez play half as good as they did against City and that attack, I think we'll be okay against West Ham. To be honest with you, no offense, Bill, but like I think that if these guys step up I expect us to go. I don't know if you talk about the formation here, but I expect us to go 4-2-3-1. I think on the game tomorrow night, because I think he's going to play to our strengths of attacking and try and win the game as early as he possibly can, or at least tire West Ham out to chase us enough. So is he?
Yeah, how do you think West Ham will sort of line up tomorrow? Do you think they will go for do you think they will actually attack Liverpool, or will they allow just give respect? Well, I would say give respect, but we know what happens every time we give teams respect. They go all over us. So how do you think you'll line up tomorrow?
Yeah, well, I think just by default with the injuries we've got at the back, I think we will play a 5 at the back with the wing backs, with Emerson and probably Southampton as our wing backs, and just play on the counter. We've had good success at Anfield without obviously getting the wins, but we have played well at Anfield the last few seasons with 4-0, as you say, getting a couple of goals at Anfield. And I think obviously the win at the London Stadium last season, the 3-2 was fantastic from the West Ham point of view, and I think that day we just exploited the space that Robertson and Alexander-Arnold, they leave in the wide areas, and that was a great success for us. So I expect it. I mean, whether Alexander-Arnold plays, I don't know, but obviously Robertson will play. So just feed the ball to Jarrod Bowen and feed down the right. But I think we'll sit back and I think try and do what Liverpool did to City, just hit you guys on the break. Whether it's we play Skamaka up front or Antonio plays with his extra pace. But I think at the moment we're not in the tip-top form to go and just outplay Liverpool at Anfield. We're just haven't got that at the moment. So let's just keep it tight and try and nick a win.
Yeah, definitely. Because I have to say, Spider, that 3-2 game at the London Stadium, I think was one of our worst games last season, in particular because if you actually think about it, we did go behind in that game. We then equalised, but we then kind of let West Ham onto us, and they managed to get the second and then the third. That was actually one of Alice's probably poorest games as a
couple of mistakes, wasn't it?
Yeah,
we actually turned into an away side for a change in an away game, which is which is weird in that season. But look. Trent scored a fantastic free kick in that one as well, but was still lacking in defense. So was the lads. We let in too many easy goals. There was a lot of kind of like, are you taking this position? Are you taking this position? Pointing at it, and it's just it was kind of sneaking of what you see a bit this season more often. But look, I can't blame our lads too much. Like, we played the most games in the history of the Premier League than any other side have ever done. So, like, we played every single possible game that a team could play in a calendar season. No other team in history has done that. So you're talking everything to the cup final, everyone to the Champions League final, right up to the last game of the Premier League season to a point, So it's nobody's ever done it. I was expecting if we'd have had a full, what would you call it? If we had a full pre-season, let's say, but there was only a 3-week turnover with the lads on holidays, and it was straight back into pre-season. If they had a bit more of a rest and it felt like more of a pre-season rather than and in between season, rather than just like, oh yeah, you've had a 3-week holiday and now it's straight back at it, then I think maybe we wouldn't be in the situation that we are now. We would have been a bit more comfortable. But I think we're getting back to it now. I think the first few games, I think we were still in a bit of pre-season mode with that mindset. The only difference is that we weren't on American cameras to look a bit different on the screen, if you know what I mean. So that's what it looked like to me. And but yeah, so look, we're in the right frame of mind now. I think West Ham are also in the right frame of mind. It's going to allow a fantastic game. But at the same time, I think it can also be a gimme game for West Ham. So I don't think they'd be too disheartened if they lost it because of the form that they're on. And, they're at the stage where, okay, we can beat kind of everybody else, but maybe the top teams are going to be a little bit of a struggle for the first half of the season. And then they'll do damage in the second half of the season like they normally do to the top teams.
It's a really good point. It's a really good point.
Yeah, definitely. I will go into the chat again. Liz and Rob are having a good wee chat because Rob has said Spider's really old. Get him off the panel, Douglas. Nippon's in. Hello. I hope you're good. Liz says, yeah, of course, nothing wrong with being a mature Liverpool fan. And then Rob has just gone, just an inside joke. And then Liz is going, of course, I figured as much. Oh, Jesus Christ. Chris, listen till I die is in. Cops did my costume party last night. I was a sitting duck.
Where's the little sound effects, Doug?
Liz is laughing at that. Then she says, Nunes needs to get comfortable on the left for a bit. That's a good point because...
He does, yeah.
Bill brought it up, actually. Nunes did actually like to drift out wide when he was at Benfica. So we're kind of seeing already that he does like to drift out wide, Spider. Would you potentially play him on the left-hand side tomorrow?
In a heartbeat. I think just for his size alone and what he does to defenders, I think they'll be so concentrated on him and try to stop him. And he'll have the capability to keep his ball at his feet and annoy him and get him angry. And we've noticed... He's got a bit of a Suarez attitude about him when it comes to just dealing with players in general. He has no patience. He's a big kid. He's a piranha in a fish pond, that kind of way. So, for me, I would stick him in there against a team like West Ham, which they can play aggressive. You're talking. I've always said that there's a few aggressive teams in the league, and West Ham is one of them. Stoke is another one of them. When they were there in the league, there was a handful of them. Bolton back in the day, aggressive teams, that were just there to mess shit up, basically, and then try and nick a win. But if you put somebody like Nunes in there, and you tell him, look, this is what the game is going to be like. It's not just going to be a walk in the park, because they really need to nurture Nunes into his aggression on the pitch and use it to his advantage rather than he's, getting sent off like he did. And if they do that, I think Klopp is going to create a very smart player who's just, the goals will come naturally then to him, So, I'll be playing him on the left-hand side. Look, there's an opportunity for Carvalho to play there. Yeah, you're going to have Bobby. Bobby always has good games against West Ham. You're probably going to have him playing in that well, as it is now, it's the number 10 role because there is no more false 9 with that 4-2-3-1. So it allows him to come a little bit more deeper. Nobody's going to complain. Bobby get up the pitch, So I think that Bobby in there, he's just there to break up their midfield from having a casual passing game when they're in possession. That's his job, or when they're trying to counter, he's there to break it up in that middle of the park. And if it doesn't, at least Fabinho or Thiago or Henderson are ready to kind of dive in when if it gets past them. So because we all know how Bobby works. But I think Salah through the centre, Elliott on the right for me. Bobby and Nunes up front would be a fantastic starting point, and you could bring on Carvalho later to maybe go at a tired West Ham, or so that would be my kind of choice. And
it's very, very interesting that you said about Carvalho, because in my honest opinion, I've got a feeling that he might start tomorrow. Now, the reason I'm saying that I think Harvey Elliott ran himself into the ground against Manchester City. He was everywhere against Manchester City. Like when he went like past De Bruyne, when he went past sort of like Bernardo Silva. Do not get me started on Bernardo Silva.
I'll be here all night. Yeah, I'll be here all night.
Do not get me started on Bernardo Silva, by the way. Yeah. Oh my days.
Yeah.
Oh, just
it's
horrible.
It's not even really a scumbag. It's just saltiness.
He's along with like Bruno Fernandes, for example, he's probably becoming one of the most hated players in the Premier League. Like people say Robertson is one of those players that's hated, but I'm like,
he's more of a wind-up merchant. No,
he is a wind-up merchant. But no, for me, I think the thing is, I think Harvey Elliott will maybe be on the bench tomorrow because I actually think he might play Carvalho. Just to get him minutes, because I think this is the best opportunity for him to get game time because of obviously Diaz being injured, because of Jota being injured. Like Jota's injury.
The only thing I would counter to that is that we're playing Nottingham Forest on the weekend, and I thought Carvalho might start in, and then we might put out what would say a 3/4 Liverpool side on the Saturday and give some of the bigger boys a rest, or your Elliott's a rest, or maybe both of them will start together with a Nunes up front and give Salah a rest, and bring him on later. It's that kind of thing. That's the only thinking behind me saying that Carvalho mightn't start against West Ham because there's such a superior side compared to Nottingham Forest there. In this, they've bought everybody Nottingham Forest, but they're just not a unit yet. So, and until they could get it right in the second half of the season and go on a nice run like Newcastle, but I think the only reason that's gotten me thinking that Carvalho mightn't start. No, it's absolutely like if it was me, I would try and start Carvalho whenever I can because he's a talented lad. I would start him whenever I rate him highly. But I'm only thinking ahead of so now we've got the Champions League game the following week. Do we want to do it now, or would we do it on the weekend and then release them up just to finalize that getting into I know we're kind of pretty much there anyway now, but just kind of beat Ajax and that's we're comfortable. We can do what we want against Napoli unless we want to go out and beat them as much as they beat us and then take the top spot. But one of the so it just depends. But I think it's a good shout for Carvalho tomorrow, but I think maybe just for the Nottingham Forest game.
Yeah, I know we're going to slightly off topic, Bill, but Nottingham Forest, 23 players they signed. Have you ever seen a club sign any more than that? I like honestly, 23 players is way too much for me.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? I mean, it has been mentioned. Obviously, they had a load of loan players last season, but even so, I mean, it's a crazy amount as well. I mean, I did fancy Forest. I mean, they still might do. I fancy them to finish up for 15th, 16th, sort of before the season started. But then, obviously, with the season, you still had a couple of weeks of the transfer window left, and I didn't expect them to buy more players than they have done. So. Whether it's, I don't think Steve Cooper has signed off on all of them. I think they sacked one of their scouts or their head of recruitment recently. I think they've changed behind the scenes. So I think they've just bought too many players. And hence why I've had a poor start. They might get it right, but I mean, it's a hell of a risk. There's been, and it shows it hasn't really worked over the years. I think Fulham a couple of seasons ago spent 100 million. QPR, Sunderland. It's been a lot of examples where it just hasn't worked at all.
I think Newcastle will do it next year. 24 players next year for Newcastle.
But when you're buying cream or like just below cream of the crop, that's all right. Not if you're buying average players, which Forest
Man City in 2008. That's where Newcastle are right now.
Yeah. But you're still buying Rubinho and players like that rather than random players from Wolves or whatever. It's a bit and knockoffs from Tottenham or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris says Klopp is a disgrace. By the way, hope he gets a long ban. I think he is actually going to be on in the dugout tomorrow because I believe that I think the charge happened. I think he's got a answer on Friday, so potentially he could miss Nottingham Forest. He deserved his red card, but there's nothing wrong with showing a bit of passion, but it's not going down the.
How many times did Alex Ferguson grab a linesman by the arm and the thing when United had all the power, he'd Keane and he was up and he was grabbing referees by the chin nearly and all that.
Bloody Jim White was saying on TalkSport that Klopp was a disgrace, but Pep was doing the same thing to Anthony Taylor. He was doing the same thing to the linesman. Nothing said. nothing said apart from because it's Klopp, everyone gets on their high horse. If Pep, no. Just ridiculous. Hello, Arpon, hope you're good. The old big six who play too many games excuse, geez, with your money you should have the players. My heart bleeds for you, not. said by a very good man who is bottom of the league. Sorry, Chris. Hopefully you get out of there because Leicester are one of those clubs that don't want to go down anyway. Those are clubs that turn normal clubs off the so-called big sister. I already do my deja vu joke. Just leave you with that one. Plus, well done on stuffing Rangers. Yeah, I know that Chris doesn't like Rangers. Doesn't like Celtic either. Doesn't like Celtic. Hello, Brian. Hope you're good. Rob was a proper wind-up merchant. Goes under the radar. But Stephen Owens says, so many Liverpool streams tonight. Spoiled for choice. Well, thank you very much for lending your ears, as they say, to this one as well. So, very, very quickly, Bill, how do you think West Ham will line up tomorrow against Liverpool?
Well, I think I know we spoke about it a lot, but I think the back line, the injuries are really going to, I think, make it easier in a way to guess our formation. So I think we'll play 3 at the back. With Fabianski and goal, Johnson, Kara, Cresswell. I actually think he might play the same team actually. Soufal, Soucek, Rice, Emerson, Bowen, Skamaka, and Paqueta as the front 3. Although with Fornals' record against scoring against Liverpool, he might come in for Paqueta potentially because he's more hardworking than Paqueta. So it's going to be a battle for West Ham. So maybe just one change from Southampton.
Very, very interesting. Spider, what would you think Liverpool will go with tomorrow?
For me, Alisson. I don't think he'll start. I think he might stick with Millie again tomorrow night. I'm hoping that he does just to ease Trent back in. Gomez, Van Dijk, Robertson, who's looking almost back to his best, to be honest with you. He's looking fantastic since he's come back from injury, Robbo. I think you might go with the same midfield of Thiago and Fabinho because they played well the other day, and I think this rest is doing Henderson the world of good to ease him back in. I think you could start Henderson on the weekend, the same as you would Carvalho. And I think up front, I think the 4 lads, if he's going to go 4-2-3-1, they're going to pick themselves really with the only exception of Jota not being on the pitch. I think he should start Núñez on the left. And I think him and Salah will just alternate. We're dropping in. Bobby will drop out there. Salah will drop back with Harvey running on the overlap, Salah on the underlap. And I think, Salah, Harvey, Bobby and Núñez would be my ideal to start against West Ham. It's just you want to cause the defense as much hassle as possible with the weakness that they have there at the moment. And I think Núñez running at him on that left is just going to drag him out. They're going to be like lemmings, or moths to a flame, just to come out there and just attack him, and it'll free up a lot for Bobby to pass through to Salah, and you might even see Harvey nicking a goal tomorrow night because of the space that he might be allowed with Núñez on that left. So hopefully we'll see.
Yeah, I think so. I'm sort of in agreement with you. I'm going to go Alisson, Milner, Gomez, Van Dijk, Robertson. I think Fabinho, Thiago will play again. I think we may maybe see one of them maybe come out against Forest. I think we might see maybe Thiago maybe come out against Forest because I'm not sure Thiago can play 3 games in a week, and I don't think Millie can do the same anyway. As much as I want to, obviously want Carvalho to maybe start tomorrow, I do think Núñez will be on the left. I am going to go Bobby. I am going to go Harvey, and I think Salah up front, where he has been. I think he'll thrive on that tomorrow. But just gives us time to obviously pick our score predictions. So, Bill, what are you going to go for?
Well, I think with West Ham's record at Anfield is pretty poor, I've got to say. And with our back line, I think and with obviously Liverpool winning against City full of confidence, I think it's going to be a tough ask for us. It's a bit of a free swing for us, so that might help us. I'm going to be optimistic and go for a 2-2. But I do think Liverpool will win, but I'll go for 2-2 just to be optimistic.
2-2. Very interesting. Guys, get your score predictions and starting 11 predictions in the chat as well. We'll go through them before we do head off. Spider, what are you going for?
Right, I was on last night, and the lads from the 1892 podcast were on. Ricky was on, and he stole my score. So I had to change to something different, but I'm going to go with the score that he was going to go originally. And I think that it's important that Liverpool get a clean sheet tomorrow night. I think that for themselves, I think they're going to want to do that. Whether that gives up more possession to West Ham a bit and opens them up a bit more, I don't know. So I'm going to say 3-0 to Liverpool, to be honest, because if we score early, it's going to be that. If West Ham score early, then you're looking at a classic, so.
a classic.
I hope it's the latter, mate.
Yeah, to me, I just think the confidence we had from Sunday, I've got a feeling that I think we'll win, but I think they're going to get a goal because I'm going to say it again, it's either going to be Antonio or it's going to be Fornals. They absolutely love scoring against us. So I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool. I think we'll instead of conceding first, I think we'll score first. But I do think they'll get like maybe an equaliser, and I think we might get two goals after that. I'm going to go 3-1, but I think that's a respectable scoreline, if I'm being honest. But West Ham. David Moyes has never won at Anfield, so hopefully I'm no jinx that. But it should be a very, very interesting game. So let's see what some of you are saying before we do head off. Brian says Thiago can barely play 2 games in a week. That's very true. That is very true. Stephen Owens is like me. He would like to see Carvalho start and give Elliott a rest for Forrest. I would agree. 3-1 Liverpool says Stephen, so same as me. 4-0 says Brian Morrissey. 2-1 says Shane. And Mr. Jack Mack is in the chat, ladies and gents. Left the lads. Hope you are all well. Yeah, we're well. I'm not too bad. A little bit bunged up, Jack, but I hope you're good. Oh yeah. Spiders on this, as you can see. But guys, thank you very, very much for watching. Sorry, didn't get back to you. Was live. No problem, mate. No problem at all. I will definitely get you on at some point. Because it has been a long, long time, Mr. Jack. It has been a long time since you have been on my channel. But no, thank you very much for watching. And obviously, we will see what happens tomorrow. Bill, thank you very much for coming on the channel. Just tell people where they can find you.
So my channels there, Garage Football, search on YouTube, and vlogs, watch-alongs, other content. So feel free to enjoy and subscribe if you like. Thanks.
That's absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure to have you, and I will definitely check out your preview that you did. And Jack saying big up Bill as well. Spider, thank you so much for coming on the channel. First time. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you. Tell the people where they can find you.
Right, as you can see below, it's Spider LFC, but mostly these days, Jack is after wrangling me in a bit. So, but we've got something in the pipeline as well coming up. We've another little thing in the pipeline coming up as well, so that should be good crack. And most of the time, when I'm not doing the couple of things a week to do with the football, you'll find me on Twitch at Irish Spider Guy, and I play a lot of horrors and escape room games, and sometimes the odd PUBG.
Interesting. I love escape rooms. I'll say that now. I do like escape rooms.
I do escape. If you can see behind me, I do escape boxes and show you quickly. I do a lot of escape boxes and stuff like that, and little. So I get them all.
Oh wow!
They're fantastic. Yeah, they're complicated. There's every side of it is it's nuts. Like little symbols and stuff. Yeah, so you gotta.
I wasn't expecting to see that on the Liverpool West Ham preview.
Yeah, sorry.
That's good.
Oh, brilliant! Absolutely brilliant. And then Stephen with the final comment of the evening. He says, "Enjoy the game, Bill. Just not too much." Basically, that is that. But thank you very much for everyone who's watched this very good match preview. And Bill, apart from tomorrow, we will wish you the best of luck for the rest of the season. And I'm pretty sure that West Ham will be back in that top 10 before you know it. But yeah, guys, obviously, if you have missed the live, then please let us know your starting 11 and let us know your score prediction. Go and check out Garage Football. Go and check out Spider LFC. And we shall see what happens tomorrow. I'll probably be live with a match reaction straight after the game tomorrow. So please do keep an eye on that as well. And I'll obviously get people to come on and have their say as well. Just to let people know, it is still Brighton 0, Forest 0, and I believe Palace are 0-0 with Wolves at the moment as well. 2 games on a Tuesday where you can just watch our lovely faces. But thank you very much for watching. Good night.